One summer day, Frog was not feeling well. "Frog, you're looking quite green today. You're looking very green, even for a frog. Get into my bed and rest," said Toad. Frog got into bed while Toad got him a cup of tea. "Let me think of a story to tell you," said Toad. So Toad began to think of a story to tell Frog. Toad tried many things to try and think of a story to tell Frog. Toad walked up and down the front porch for a while, but he still could not think of a story. He stood on top of his head, but he still could not think of a story. He poured water over his head many times, but he still could not think of a story. He even banged his head against the wall, but he still could not think of a story to tell Frog. Toad took so long to think of a story that Frog started to feel better. After trying hard to think of a story, Toad was now the one that needed to lay down. "I don't think I need a story anymore," said Frog. "Then get out of my bed and let me get into it now. I feel terrible," said Toad. Toad climbs into his bed to rest when Frog asks, "Would you like me to tell you a story, Toad?" Toad agrees to a story, and Frog thought for a minute about his story. Frog began his story. Once upon a time there were two good friends, a frog and a toad. The frog was not feeling well. He asked his friend the toad to tell him a story. The toad could not think of a story. He walked up and down the porch, but he could not think of a story. He stood on his head, but he could not think of a story. He poured water over his head, but he could not think of a story. He banged his head against the wall, but he could not think of a story. Then the toad did not feel so well, and the frog was feeling better. So the toad went to bed, and the frog got up and told him a story. The end.